Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling digital public infrastructure, or DPI.
Right, DPI.
Think of it as the essential digital groundwork for a modern government, the digital version of roads and bridges.
Exactly. It's designed for efficient, secure service delivery. Getting everyone connected, getting government systems working together, a kind of whole-of-government approach digitally.
And in this deep dive, we're really going to focus on how DPI has evolved. We'll look at the connected journeys of India and Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, following the story chronologically, seeing how one country's experience sort of informed the others.
Okay, but before we jump in deep, when we say population scale digital systems, what are we actually talking about?
Good question. Simply put, it means systems designed and built to serve pretty much everyone in a country, or, a very large majority.
So not just a niche thing, built for all citizens.
Exactly. Digital services for everyone. Okay, so let's unpack this. Where did this DPI idea really start gaining traction?
Well, it seems like India's early work in digital transformation was pretty foundational. They were definitely pioneers in developing these core digital systems.
The India stack.
That's the one, often called the India stack.
Yeah, and a massive part of that has to be Aadhaar, their biometric digital ID system.
Issued to, what, over 1.3 billion people?
Over 1.3 billion, yeah. And what's really insightful there isn't just the number, it's the impact. Giving people that unique digital ID, it streamlines so much. Government payments, yes, but also things people didn't initially foresee, like opening bank accounts easily, getting mobile connections.
It saved money too, right? Reducing leakage in those government person transfers?
Billions. We're talking billions in savings because the money actually reached the intended person securely. That scale is just, yeah.
Billions really puts it in perspective. And then there's UPI. Everyone seems to know about UPI for instant payments now.
Oh, absolutely. UPI, the Unified Payments Interface. Yeah. The transaction volumes are just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Billions of transactions every single year. It's become, part of daily life for so many people in India. It's more than just paying. It's become a platform for all sorts of economic activity.
So India's strategy wasn't about creating one single massive system then. It was more modular.
Precisely. That's the clever bit. They focused on minimal, reusable digital building blocks. Think of them like digital Lego bricks.
Okay.
And crucially, built on open standards and specifications, like having a universal USB port instead of everyone needing a different plug. It lets different systems talk to each other easily.
Which fosters innovation, I guess? Because others can build on top.
Exactly that. It encourages wider use and lets companies, developers, anyone really, build new services using those core blocks.
So India builds this impressive digital foundation. How did they then share this idea globally?
Well, they really championed the whole concept of DPI internationally.
Yeah.
Especially during their G20 presidency in 2023. It became a major theme.
And did the G20 countries agree on what DPI actually is?
They did. They landed on a definition. Basically, DPI means shared digital systems that are secure and, importantly, interoperable.
Meaning they can work together.
Yes. Talk to each other seamlessly. And they stressed that these systems should be built on open standards. That's key for ensuring everyone gets fair access to services at, societal scale.
So it's not just having digital tools, but making sure they connect properly and benefit everyone.
Precisely.
Right.
And the G20 also highlighted the need for strong legal frameworks around these systems.
Right, the governance aspect.
Yeah, rules that encourage development, inclusion, innovation, build trust, ensure competition, but always, always respect human rights.
It sounds like a realization that maybe the old ways of doing government IT weren't quite cutting it anymore. A need for a more unified, citizen-focused approach.
That's a really good way to put it. The G20 acknowledged that, look, digital transformation isn't new, but maybe the approach needed revisiting.
To make sure it benefited everyone.
Exactly. To ensure it genuinely served the public good and didn't accidentally leave people behind, especially those who might not have access to private digital options.
Yeah.
It really put the spotlight on government leadership being vital here.
Okay, so that international consensus then leads to a specific event, the Global DPI Summit.
Yes, that was a big moment. The first Global DPI Summit, hosted by India in Pune, June 2023.
What was the focus there?
It brought countries together to explore how DPI could practically make life better. The theme was DPI for ease of living, ease of doing business, and ease of governance. Very practical.
And this is where Trinidad and Tobago really enters our story.
Right. At that summit, the representative from Trinidad and Tobago had a really key conversation with experts from the Center for Digital Public Infrastructure, CDPI.
What did they discuss?
They talked about T&T's own digital goals, the hurdles they were facing, and importantly, how India's journey and some of these newer ideas could maybe help them accelerate.
So Trinidad and Tobago was already thinking about digital transformation. It wasn't totally new for them.
Oh, definitely not new. They were already inspired by these global discussions, looking at examples like India, but also countries like Estonia.
Estonia is known for its digital government, particularly the X-road system, right?
Exactly. Estonia's X-road data exchange layer was definitely an influence.
Part of their plan involved developing a national technology stack. What does that mean in practice?
Think of it like their own digital blueprint, the core tech architecture for all their digital government services.
Okay, like the foundations.
Right, including things like GovNet, which is their secure government network, and a really critical piece, the interoperability platform, or IOP.
The IOP, that sounds like it connects things, similar to Estonia's X-road.
It is key. And yes, they actually worked with Estonian partners, leveraging that X-road experience to build their IOP.
And its job is?
Its main job is to break down the walls between different government departments' data. You know how usually each agency has its own database and they don't talk?
The classic data silos.
Exactly. The IOP acts like a secure highway and translator between them. It lets different agencies share necessary information quickly and securely, using standard ways of connecting APIs and protocols.
So instead of me having to give my birth certificate to 5 different agencies.
Right, the idea is seamless services.
Yeah.
IOP enables things like automatic record checks behind the scenes, much more efficient, much more convenient for citizens.
That sounds great, but building that kind of interoperability platform, that sounds like a huge, potentially slow project.
It absolutely can be. And that's precisely where this next idea, this innovation, comes in. It's called DPI as a package solution, DaaS for short. And it's designed specifically to simplify and speed up DPI implementation. It's a direct link between what India built and what T&T needed.
Okay, explain DaaS. Is it like DPI in a box?
Sort of. Think of it as easily deployable, pre-configured pilot solutions. Often they come with funding attached and really clear, fast timelines.
Pre-packaged DPI components you can deploy quickly.
You got it. And the Center for Digital Public Infrastructure, CDPI, the group T&T, met at the summit. They've been huge champions of this DaaS model.
And Trinidad and Tobago went for it. They decided to try this DaaS approach.
They did. In fact, Trinidad and Tobago became the very first country in the world to actually implement a solution using the DaaS model.
The first one globally. That's significant. What problem did they tackle first with DaaS?
Their immediate need was for verifiable credentials,
Meaning?
meaning turning paper certificates like your degree or maybe a professional license into secure digital versions that can be easily checked and trusted.
Okay. Digital verifiable proof. Makes sense for efficiency and cutting out on fraud.
Exactly. And the DaaS approach let them move incredibly fast.
How fast are we talking?
They managed to get a working prototype built in just 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Wow.
And the plan was to go live only 1 month after the official project kickoff. That kind of speed is just, well, it's a game changer compared to traditional government IT projects.
And how does DaaS enable that speed?
It allows countries to tap into global expertise quickly, use existing open source software components, and sometimes even access specific funding designed for these rapid pilots. It basically shortcuts a lot of the bespoke development work.
So T&T's verifiable credentials project, it's like a test case for this whole DaaS idea.
You could definitely see it that way. It's like a real-world laboratory, testing if this model can really accelerate DPI adoption and deliver concrete results much, much faster than starting from scratch.
It's fascinating seeing that link. India builds the big vision, the foundational layers over years.
Right, the comprehensive national approach.
And then Trinidad and Tobago uses this DaaS model for a really targeted, rapid implementation. Really shows a shared goal, doesn't it? Building these reusable digital foundations.
Absolutely. Both countries are committed to creating these reusable, interoperable, inclusive digital public goods, things that government and the private sector can use.
And T&T isn't stopping there, are they?
No, definitely not. They're actively working now to expand their DPI, the identity piece, payments, the data exchange to connect seamlessly with the private sector too.
Aiming for a sort of whole-of-society digital ecosystem.
That's the term they use, yeah. Where businesses, nonprofits, everyone can build services on top of this public infrastructure.
So if we zoom out, we see India's large-scale national build and T&T's accelerated adoption using DaaS.
It's a great summary. It really shows how DPI development is evolving, how it's becoming more collaborative. We're moving away from those old siloed IT projects.
Towards integrated, citizen-focused infrastructure.
Exactly. Infrastructure that can be adapted, importantly, to different country contexts and needs.
And the big picture goals driving all this. What are countries hoping to achieve?
Ultimately, it's about transformation. Bridging the digital divide,
Yeah.
genuinely improving quality of life for citizens, building more trust in digital systems.
And unlocking new opportunities.
Yes, unlocking new economic and social opportunities for everyone. It really highlights how countries can learn from each other, share what works, and use these innovative models like DaaS to make real progress, even contributing towards those global sustainable development goals.
This has been incredibly insightful, seeing how these digital foundations are being built, and especially these new, faster ways countries are collaborating. It's quite
It
something.
really is. And it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it?
Oh.
Well, if you can have these rapidly deployable, prepackaged digital solutions for government services, what other areas could this apply to beyond government?
Interesting.
How might that reshape innovation, service delivery,
Yeah.
across the board? Definitely something to mull over.